Hi, this is Tom with Chap. Today I want to talk about backstage tours that are led by understudies. The public is fascinated with understudies, especially in something like a repertory theater system. What I mean by that is that in a repertory, you have a company of actors, and maybe they're doing two shows, three shows, because there are 9 to 11 shows, 12 shows in rotation. And they're working for 7 months, 10 months at a time. And that company all understudies each other. Yeah. So they have three roles on stage in three different plays or musicals, and then they have understudy parts. They have to understudy somebody else in the company in case someone gets sick, in case anything happens. The understudy comes on not to prove themselves like you see in movies, but to do a job. And to have these people talk about what they do during a backstage tour is fantastic. People are fascinated. Now, your backstage tour should be interesting enough, but if you want more that's more fun, or you're doing a second style of backstage tour, if you advertise it as the understudy or the actor centric backstage tour, that's amazing. Or perhaps you've done so well at your theater with backstage tours that you have a backstage tour 2.0, the advanced version. You've taken the first one, come see the second one. This is more information from a different angle. The understudies can talk about their life and how they work and how they learn, and most importantly, the choices of an understudy and how important that job is. When you take the people onto the stage, you can say, now you wouldn't think about it. I can't take you there, but the stairs behind me are really hard because I have a quick change and then I have to run up these stairs and then down the next ones to get here in time. The actor who does this normally is very fast, but I am not used to their shoes, or I'm not the same size as they are, and the costume doesn't fit me as well. It's a little loose, and I'm a little nervous. This happens a lot, especially when there's shoes. Hopefully, the understudy your theater has enough shoes to go around, so you can give them their own shoes that have enough traction. But when it's high heels, especially that don't quite fit, that are pinching somebody's feet, and they have to go running somewhere to get on the stage, it's a lot to know. It's a lot to do. Also, the understudy can talk about how they're not doing their own choices. They're doing basically an imitation of the first actor. Now, say an understudy's in a show where there's a southern accent, and the understudy has a talent to talk like this. And they've done other shows where they've gotten a lot of laughs talking like this. But that's not how the first actor is doing it. Maybe the understudy is doing what they think is a Tallahassee accent. Whether that's accurate or not, I don't know. Maybe the character in the show lives in Tallahassee or came from Tallahassee, but originally they're from Georgia. And their accent isn't like this, it's a lot more smooth and a lot more melodic. And that may be something that the understudy didn't pick up on. They should, but they're not there to get laughs where the show doesn't have them already. They're not there to reinvent the character in their own way, to get laughs, to give more depth. They're doing what the first actor did. The understudy is not in the rehearsal room learning all the reasons for why this joke lands a certain way, while anything is a certain way. And just imagine if there's more than one understudy in the show. So, say you're the person that you decide to talk like this. So everyone thinks you're funny, 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 funny. And the other person who's talking to you, they're a more serious character. Maybe they're a New Yorker and they're from Long Island. And they're having their own ideas as well. Oh, I know how people talk in Long Island. They say Long Island. So I'm going to say it Long Island. And that wasn't how that character was created. Maybe their character visits Long Island, but it lives in Manhattan, so they don't say Long Island. So now you have two jokesters on stage, both trying to pull focus or thinking that they're improving the character when they're not. It's bad. An understudy has to learn all the blocking, all the accents, all the inflections, all the everything, and it's a lot to do. And even if they're a perfect mimic, not being able to do it on stage often enough gives them a disadvantage. So if they're taking your tour around and they're talking about backstage and how they think they're ready, but when they had to go on, they forgot what entrance they were going on. They did not have help. Normally, you have a little bit of help backstage from the assistant stage manager, but they could be really busy. And they have to just tell this to the audience in the backstage tour. I went this direction for that entrance, but it's actually that direction for that entrance. It was a big deal. Now I went on the wrong way because I didn't know the backstage track of the understudy job. I only knew what I saw on stage because I had just seen the shows or watched the understudy video. I didn't get all the nuances of how fast I have to go around the backstage or what to watch out for or who I'm going to bump into or who else is changing when I'm changing. There's a lot to learn. And this can be a very entertaining backstage tour for your patrons. Honestly, they're fascinated by it. So they're giving the information about the backstage and all the things to do with your theater, as well as being even more entertaining and telling the audience about a lot more of what it takes to do theater. This is why your people are taking the backstage tour or any of your events that you have on your Join Us button. Again, I'm saying it on every video. Please have a Join Us button for all your extra events in your theater. Have this on your website and have these extra events. I'm talking about a lot of extra events. You don't have to do all the things I'm suggesting, but, I think quite a few could help you out. We need to keep people coming into the theater, coming to see all your shows, spending money, coming to your concessions, and you need to sort of tell them everything that it takes to make this artistry happen and why they're paying that much money for a ticket, frankly. This all helps. This backstage tours, other events on your Join Us button, talkbacks, epilogues, prologues, they all help make a theater fan for life, a theater patron for your theater for as long as you are open. They're even going to take a chance on your shows that aren't so good, which unfortunately do happen as hard as we try. And they may ask about that. Why was this show bad? That's a hard question. Your understudies understand this. They've been acting for a while. They know why certain things don't work. Now, also what you're doing for these patrons that take a tour with this understudy are also on their side. So when they go to any of the theater or your theater and they hear the announcement, tonight the role of Bob is played by so-and-so, he is an understudy. They've taken your tour, they know what goes into it, and they're on your side of your theater. They're on that understudy side, and they forgive the foibles that are obvious, like, oh, he dropped that prop. Oh, he came on the wrong way. What's he doing? What's he doing over there? They understand, and because they understand what it takes. It works really well for backstage tours and other talks where an understudy can talk about what their life is like. Now, not all understudies work at a repertory company. Some work, they have a day job. And they can see their show that they're understudying even less. What I'm trying to say is some shows are sold out and they can't get in to see the show as much as they should. And some companies don't film their shows early enough for the understudy who watch the film. And even with the film, it doesn't show everything. Even with sitting into the seat, it doesn't show everything. And sitting in with the audience, you can't write down all the blocking notes you need to. They need to sit in an understudy booth, preferably. A lot of theaters don't have this option. You see what I mean? So they're explaining how much more it takes for them to be a good understudy because they don't have much chance to be in the show, to have understudy rehearsals. Even their understudy rehearsals aren't with the whole cast. It could be just another group of understudies who are all in the same boat. These people are fascinating to the public when they lead an epilogue, they lead a backstage tour, any of your events. I would think about it. And if you're trying to do shows without any understudies at all, you're taking risks. But that's a whole other video that we'll talk about. Right. There's going to be a lot more about different styles of backstage tours, different types of events, and a lot more things to keep people coming back to your theater. Because let's face it, all theaters globally are having lower numbers in attendance after the pandemic, which has been a while, but the lower numbers continue. Even if you're not seeing in your theater, it could happen to you anytime. Think about how you want to reinvent what you offer your patrons. What more to engage them, to keep them coming back, to see you. All right. Next time we're going to talk about social media. Everyone should do it. All right. Thank you. Like, subscribe, share with a friend. I'll talk to you again. Bye.